Hey there crafters, welcome back to Craft Basics, where art is a passion and craft is your everyday life. So in my previous video, I did a little unboxing. This set of rhinestones should have been in my unboxing video, but I didn't receive it in time, and I'm just opening this for the first time, and I can see that some of the rhinestones were coming out of this packaging. So I will have to transfer this to another container, because this is clearly going to give me a lot of work to do when it's time to unbox or to use it. I may have to get the rhinestones in this container, but that's something for another day, not for right now. All right, so these are some Hotfix rhinestones. So these are a little different. It's the same brand. No, it's not the same brand as this one that I unboxed recently, but it's from the same brand that I got these Bedazzled accessories from. All right. So today I have a little project that I'm going to work on, but I'm also going to show you some of the key tools that I use when I am working on my... Oh, I see. That's where the problem is coming from. Okay, I will have to definitely move these rhinestones. So I'll show you some of the key things that I use when I'm working. So you can grab those so you can get started. So as I mentioned before, it's back to school and I want to bedazzle some of my daughter's items that she takes to school, so that, you know, they're unique, because I noticed that some other kids have similar, for example, pencil case, and I want to bedazzle like her calculator, so that they're not, you know, easily mixed up with other kids' stuff. All right, so these are my Hotfix rhinestones. You know, I have a couple different colors in here. These rhinestones are not Hotfix, so you definitely need your super glue or your crafting glue for these. All right. And these are just some little accessories that I also have that I use for crafting. And these are some other gemstones that you can use to, you know, jazz your work up. So let me remove the cover so you can see that clearly. So they have different colors, different designs to work with. And I'm making... All right, we'll fix that after. And these are also some other bedazzled accessories that I will be using on these projects. Okay. So for the tools, and we have some other rhinestones. These are Hotfix as well. So when I say Hotfix, I mean you need this heat applicator gun to apply these. I mean, you could also apply these with glue, but they already come with the glue adhesive on the back of them. All right, so I have my little tweezer, so these will help you to pick up your rhinestones. I have 3 different options for my wax stick pencils or my wax pencils. So this one you can sharpen. This one you can, it doesn't have like a wood base on it or wooden base on it. And this one, my favorite, because of course it's cute, but it's also multi-purpose. So I will show you how to use this one when I'm doing my little project. All right, so this helps to move the stones around so that you're not messing up the tip. For example, if you're using glue. All right, and this is just a little picker that I use to move rhinestones around. So similar to this one, this does the same thing. Okay, and of course you need a little tray. If you're working with a lot more rhinestones, you maybe need to get a bigger tray. And this is just a tip for my applicator gun. I also have some additional accessories that I will be using today. So instead of using my Cricut to get the alphabets, because I'll be putting her name on items, I got some font stickers. All right, so you can get these from your bookstores or any store that sells cute little accessories that you can use to put on, you know, items, any craft items. So I'll show you how I use these. I may not be using these in the project that I'm doing today. However, I do have another one that I'm going to be bedazzling this a little bit just to brand it with her name on it. I also picked up these as well. So I think these were cute. You know, I'm definitely going to be testing it with my craft glue so that it sticks on much longer. So with these, they're already rhinestones on there. So this is a stone sticker set. All right, so I'm really excited to try these out. It will save definitely on some of the work that I have to do when I'm doing my bedazzling. All right, so let's jump into getting this done. And I did have this little buffer here, because what the buffer will do is it will, you know, rough things up a little bit. For some projects you may need to rough stuff up a little bit, but this is already rubber, so you don't have to do much for the glue to adhere to the surface. All right, so we really just want to create a cute look on this so that it's easy for her to identify her pencil case and it doesn't get mixed up with other kids' pencil case. So that's the whole point of doing a bedazzle on this. All right, so for this one I'm going to be working with my rhinestones that do not have the adhesive on the back, so I will definitely need some glue. All right, so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to apply the glue to the area that I want to work on. All right, so we're going to do the outer areas, but we're also going to do the YOLO. All right, so I'm just applying a little glue, and I'm not going to do too much glue, but I'm going to do letter by letter so that we don't get the glue drying too quickly. All right, so if you can see, this has a nice little tip and a needle that keeps it clear. I prefer these types of glues because, you know, they don't give me any issues when it's time to work with them. All right, so I'm going to be using two sizes today for this one. I'm going to be using these two sizes. All right, so the bigger rhinestones, and this might be easier if I just get them in my little tray. So when I get them in the tray, I can easily, and I'll just do the bigger ones first. So when it's time to put them back, I don't have too much issues. All right, so we're using the wax pen to apply. All right, so if you're new to my channel, thank you so much for stopping by. And if you are one of my regular viewers, thank you so much for tuning in and checking out my project that I'm working on today. All right, so I'm going to use this side of the pen to kind of move stuff around a little bit so that my wax doesn't get interfered with. All right, so I'm going in for the smaller rhinestones now, and it's that easy to just pull them out on the wax pen. All right, So when you're working on these types of projects, you may need to have different size rhinestones. These are not marked, so unfortunately I can't tell you what size this is, but I can definitely, you know, show you a chart of the different sizes that the rhinestones would come in, so you can easily determine what size you may need for your project. Or you could just grab one of these kits, which would make life so much easier. I can leave that in the description below, so you can grab one of those if you need to. All right, so this one here, so that's the first letter, and that's done. All right, and then we're going to move on to the next letter. Let's do the first two for the O's. So like I said, you don't need to put too much glue on here, and spread it across the surface so you work faster. So we're back to our tray, and we're just going to add the rhinestones. And this, you just want to work quickly because some glues will dry faster than you're able to finish the area. But if you're working with, for example, a larger area, I wouldn't recommend you put the glue on the entire space unless you're able to go quickly where it won't get dried. All right, so I think I need a little bit of glue right here. All right, that's it. And then we're gonna go in for the smaller rhinestones. Okay. And you wanna make sure that when you're picking up the rhinestones, they are, the crystal side is faced up, all right? So the pen will pick it up much easier that way. That. For instance, I'm picking them from a batch right now. If it was in the tray, it would be much easier, but I don't want to have to be changing them out each time. So there we go. And we use this side to align everything on the letters. All right, so we still want it to be clearly identified as the O. And if you notice, I can still move these around a little bit. So the drying time for these for this particular glue, it's it dries within the hour, but it cures in 24 hours. So you want to be mindful of that, so you give your project enough time to dry. And here we are making a mess as usual. When you're working with rhinestones, you will understand these things happen. Okay, so let's run into the next one. So we're gonna do the Y. And I think these projects are so fun because the finish, you know, when you see what you have created, you know, just giving this a whole different vibe is gonna create some envy. Because they're probably gonna ask you, where did you get that one with the rhinestones on it? Oh, my mom made it for me. I know she's gonna be so excited about this. So we'll have to use 2 different sizes for the rhinestones for this one, because the Y is, it has a little, you know, thing at the bottom. So here Okay. So we still want the middle section to show. And you can do this for pretty much any little project that you have, any little item that you want to, you know, jazz up and make it cute. So don't limit yourself. I could do two bigger ones right here, two bigger rhinestones right here, and just close that out. All right. So that was easy. So now we're gonna go for the L. So we just did the Y, we're gonna go for the L. And then the final thing that I'm going to do is around the perimeter of it. So I may use a different color for that one, you know, just to change the vibe, or we could just continue using these crystal ones for it. So as I mentioned before, when you're shopping for your rhinestones, it's best to get a set, because that way you will get multiple sizes to do your projects, and you know, you don't have to try to figure out if this one is small enough or is it big enough. So I like buying the sets. All right, so we're gonna go with the little stones for the bottom. Because the bottom is giving me more of a tiny line. We don't want that to get lost. And then we can move back into the bigger stones right here. Yeah, we need another small one right here. All right, so that's it for the letters, and we need to go around the square. All right, so going around the square, I think I want to use, should we continue with the clear, or should we give it another? Yeah, let's go with another color. Let's go with the purple. Let's go with the purple. So I'm just going to return these to the case and get those out of the way. All right. So what am I missing? I think it would be more uniform. No, let's not do that. Let's not be uniform. All right, so we need some glue around this area. So we're just gonna, you know, lightly glue. And we're gonna try to work fast so that the glue doesn't dry on us. All right, but we're gonna make sure that we have a good spread for the size rhinestones that we're working with. All right, so always close your glue when you're finished applying, and let's go. See, when you have this pen, it just makes application so much easier, so much quicker. And your tray is right here with you, so you don't have to go too far. So always keep your tray right at your work area, so you don't have to be stretching over there. So a smaller tray works, you know, it really depends on your project. But for me, I like this little tray. Look at that. We'll be finished in no time. I should have been using a timer so I could tell you how long this would take to complete, which, as you can see, it's not a lot of time or effort to bedazzle this pencil case. So as I mentioned before, I want it to be unique to her, so you know it's not gonna be easily misplaced for someone else's pencil case. So that's our reason for doing this. And even though these are Hotfix Rhinestones, I'm not using my heat gun applicator because I don't want to burn the plastic. This is rubber. This section is rubber, so I don't want to burn that section of the pencil case. So I'm not going to be using the heat applicator to put these on, because you have to hold this in place for a couple seconds, maybe like a 10 seconds each. 10 seconds is good, and that will definitely burn the surface that I'm working with. So you have to be selective depending on the project that you're doing to know which rhinestones to use and when to use your heat applicator. All right, the heat gun applicator is very hot and you just have to know when to use it. So there's a section of this that needs a little bit more glue, so I'm just gonna apply a little more glue and close the glue. All right, so because this is fabric, I can see that it's you know, absorbing the glue quickly. So you have to work fast if you're doing anything with fabric and rhinestones. I think I need a little bit more glue right here to the corner. Yeah, because I don't want this to be falling apart, you know, in no time. And you know how it is with kids. They're not going to be the most careful with stuff. But I can see this lasting a while though. All right, so that's my last stone for this design. So I think this is really cute. And if we want to push this a little bit further, we can also add, you know, additional stuff to the bag itself, you know, just kind of make it pop. But this should be enough of a difference in terms of the pencil case so that somebody wouldn't pick it up and say, oh, this is my pencil case, right? So I'm gonna stop here for this one today. So this is the finish design. So we use 2 different color rhinestones, and you can see the glue is almost dry already. You know, when I was trying to shift this rhinestone, I could see that it's barely moving. So yeah, I like this. I think it's cute. It's girly, and she's definitely gonna love it. So this pencil case has 2 compartments, and yeah. So yeah, let me know what you think about this design, and I will do my next. The next one I'm going to do is this calculator, so we're going to jazz this up a bit as well. All right, thanks so much for sticking with me today. Hope you enjoyed my video, and I will see you in the next one.